Are you dealing with a legal issue you would love to resolve? There is help. Welcome to The Law Show Sacramento, brought to you by TravisBlackLaw.com. Join us to create the best path forward for you. Now, here's your host.
Hi, I'm your host, Angel Birch, and I'm here with Travis Black from Travis Black & Associates. And today we're going to be talking with Travis about automobile accidents and what happens if the insurance company won't settle your case. Now, before Travis joins us, I want to just remind you that if you do have questions or you require assistance, you can always reach Travis at TravisBlackLaw.com, and you can join us on Facebook at Facebook.com/TravisBlackShow. Travis, welcome to the call.
Well, thank you.
Travis, we've previously talked about your experience, both as a former police officer and someone who worked for insurance companies. Now, of course, you're a lawyer. How do you feel that this is going to help you to understand the process?
Well, oftentimes with an automobile accident, understanding how an investigation is undertaken by law enforcement definitely helps. And probably the most important aspect of my background is the fact that I've worked for 3 different insurance companies. And so I definitely understand how insurance companies handle cases. And for over 20 years, I've been an attorney. So it all blends in. I think it qualifies me very well to handle these kind of cases.
So car accidents. Now, really, they can be stressful in and of themselves, and then you add, insurance companies and the police and the whole accident scene. But really, what happens if the insurance company won't settle? Is there something we can do? That's what we need to talk about today. So, Travis, if the insurance company won't settle my case, what should I do?
Well, if you don't have an attorney, you can file a lawsuit yourself. I think that would be very difficult to do, and the insurance company is definitely going to take advantage of you. You can file a case in small claims court. You can file a case up to $10,000 in small claims court, but most cases are worth more than that.
So they're going to have their own attorney, though.
Oh, the insurance company most definitely has their own attorneys. They have 2 types of attorneys. They have an in-house attorney that actually works for the insurance company. Their paycheck comes from the insurance company. And then they have attorneys that they hire outside of the insurance company. So, yes, they're going to come armed and dangerous.
So unless you know the law, hiring a lawyer might be a good idea.
I think it's the only way you can handle a case if they're not going to settle the case.
So what happens next? We hire a lawyer, okay, and they file a lawsuit. What's going to happen?
Well, let me back up just a little bit. Oftentimes, if an attorney gets involved in a case early enough, the attorney will know how to get the best offer possible for the client. When I say best, it doesn't mean it's going to be the offer that you should take. So if you've got an attorney, then what's going to happen is he's going to file what's called a lawsuit. And most people panic when they hear that word. But all it is filing papers with a court. And it now allows us to engage with the insurance company in a legal proceeding. So you're going to file a lawsuit. I think there's 4 or 5 pages to it. You're going to file it with the court. They're going to stamp it, and then you're going to give those papers to a process server who then goes out and serves the person that caused the accident. That person, all they do is they turn it over to their insurance company, and then that insurance company will answer the lawsuit and handle everything for that person. And, I want to put something in. A lot of people say, well, I don't want to sue the person that caused the accident. Well, legally, you have to sue them, but you're not going after them. In reality, you're actually going after their car insurance. That takes a lot of stress off of people.
It sounds like insurance can be used as a protection for you in this case, if you're the person who got hit, but it can really be a detriment if the other side won't settle and you don't have a lawyer. So
Right. Let me throw this out.
Wow.
If you think about it, insurance companies, their one job in life is to make a lot of money.
I think we forget that.
If you go on and look at the stock market, you will see that insurance companies are beyond wealthy. The way they make money is they collect as much money as they can from each of us for insurance, and then they pay out the minimum amount possible on a claim. And that doesn't mean it's a fair amount. It means it's their minimum amount. And that's where the attorney, if you hire an attorney, he can then make it more fair. He can tip the scales in your direction.
What does happen after the suit is filed? You said that, the insurance company's lawyers are going to take care of it for them. And if we hire an attorney, my attorney would take care of it for me. But what's going to happen in this process?
Well, it's called discovery, and that's the name of the process from this point forward. Once the defendant, the person that caused the accident, has been served and their insurance company has answered, then I serve the defendant or the insurance company with written questions. At the same time, they're giving us the exact questions, and this is just to get background information, and they're called form interrogatories. They're form questions, and they're used on every case. Questions like, what's your name? Have you gone by any other names? Where do you live? Where have you lived for the past 10 years? Then they get into how the accident happened, your injuries, etc. So I'm sending them over to the defendant. The defendant, the person that caused the accident, is now sending them to us. And that's where my office would actually sit down. If you were my client, you would be sitting at a desk with me and my office staff. We would be answering those questions for you. We would be doing all the work. After these written questions are done, then oftentimes they'll ask for what's called a request for production of documents. In other words, they want to see pictures of your property damage if you've taken pictures. They may want to see medical records showing that your injuries, your treatment, etc. I'm doing the same thing to them. I want pictures. I want to know how much insurance they have, etc. And then what normally happens is they will take your deposition, and that can be an extremely stressful situation, and I can't even comprehend somebody doing that without having an attorney sitting next to them. But it's the insurance company's opportunity to sit down and have a court reporter swear you in under penalty of perjury, and you have to answer their questions. And without an attorney, I will guarantee you they will abuse you and ask you questions they're not allowed to ask, but they will if you don't have an attorney.
So if they ask a question that is either not allowed or something they shouldn't ask, or they ask it in a way they shouldn't ask, my attorney is allowed to object or go between?
Oh, yes. And that happens quite frequently. I can make an objection and advise the insurance company that my client's not going to answer that question. It just puts a stop to it. The other thing we do is if we're pretending you're my client, I would sit you down for as long as it takes, an hour, hour and a half. And I know all the questions they're going to ask you. There's only so many questions that could be asked in reference to an automobile accident and injuries. And I would go over all those questions with you and make sure that you understand the questions and that you're answering them properly. So when you do walk into the deposition, it's much less stressful. Once the deposition is taken, oftentimes the case will settle then. The insurance company has now taken your deposition. They have information. They find out what type of person you are. They've sat with you for an hour, hour and a half, talk to you, and oftentimes they'll make you an offer at that time. If not, then the next thing that happens is they send you to what's called an independent medical exam. That means if you're injured, you've been treating with your doctors, but they have the right to send you to their doctor. And I will promise you that that doctor works for the insurance company, and he's going to bend and twist his examination in the favor of the insurance company.
Wow, that almost doesn't even seem legal.
Well, it's sad. If you think of doctors helping you. I mean, when you go and you're hurt, your doctors help you. But when they work for an insurance company, their whole job is to hurt you, not physically. But give you an example. If you have trouble walking and your back hurts and you kind of shuffle when you walk and you walk in the doctor's office, he's going to ask you, would you take 10 steps, turn around and come back? And you're shuffling and you may be unsteady on one leg or whatever. You have trouble getting on the examination table.
Wow.
Their report's going to say that you walked in perfectly fine, that you got on the table. They just bend everything they can bend. We actually go to these examinations with the client. I actually bring a nurse with me to make sure that the doctor's doing all the tests as he's supposed to do.
Let's just say the discovery phase is complete and you don't get an offer, or maybe the offer's not great. What happens after that?
Well, then prior to going to a trial, you would do what's either called an arbitration, and that's where you and your attorney come into a room, and there'll be the insurance company, they'll have their attorney, and there's an arbitrator. He's a neutral party, and his whole goal is to listen. You put on a mini trial, and the arbitrator comes up with an amount he thinks the case is worth. If both sides agree to that amount, the case is over. If either side disagrees with that amount, then the case would go to trial. The other thing that happens is you may elect to do is you may want to mediate it. And that's sort of like, if you think about it, it's sort of like marriage counseling. You have a counselor there, and he's listening to both sides, and he's trying to get you guys to work things out.
Now, is this mediator a judge or an attorney?
Can be, either one. There's actually some mediators that aren't attorneys, aren't judges. They are just very good at bringing sides together.
So they don't work for the insurance company then?
No.
This is an outside party.
Actually, both the insurance company and the plaintiff, if I was your attorney, myself, I would be picking a mediator with the insurance company. It's somebody we agree on. And then we go in, and it's, again, that person's job is to try to get both sides to settle. And oftentimes that works. The mediator gets to hear both sides of the story, and they may come in and tell the insurance company, well, I just talked to the plaintiff, and this is what they said. And the insurance company may go, oh, okay, well, I guess the case has got more value. Or it can turn around, often does. They'll come in, and the mediator may say, well, let me tell you what the insurance company said. They've got information. He then tells you the information, and all of a sudden your case doesn't have the value that you thought it did.
So you're not in the same room with the insurance company?
Never.
Okay.
Oftentimes you don't even see them. You're sitting in totally opposite rooms, and so there's no stress there, and you're not staring or getting angry with anybody. You're sitting there with your attorney, and hopefully after this process, we can get the case settled. If not, then we leave, and the next process is the trial.
So it absolutely can go to trial if all else fails.
Almost definitely.
One more question, Travis, before we go. What can I expect at trial? Am I going to have to go through, like you said, like a mini trial at the arbitration? Am I going to have to go through that again, answer all the same questions again, put on the stand before a judge and be scrutinized?
Yeah. It's not like TV. It's not half as exciting. Normally on television, they try a case in a half hour. Normally a personal injury case, if you're in fact in court 5 days a week, may run a week and a half or even longer for a more complicated case.
So is the onus on you to prove your injuries, or is the onus on the insurance company to prove that you're not injured?
Well, the burden is always on the injured person to prove they're injured. The insurance company will put on their case. Remember that doctor that works for the insurance company? That doctor will try to persuade the jury that you're faking it, or you're not hurt, or you're not hurt as bad as you're alleging. And if I was your attorney, I'd be putting your doctors on, and your friends and co-workers, etc., people that know you, that can tell your story, they can explain how you were hurt.
It sounds like a process that you do not want to go in alone, for sure. Definitely hire an attorney.
Yes.
But we are out of time, and I hate that when we run out of time on such an important matter. Travis, thank you for sharing this information with us.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you.
If you know someone who would benefit from what we've shared here today, I'm sure they would thank you if you forward it to them. So for more insight on this topic, please visit Travis's website at www.travisblacklaw.com. You can also phone him at 916-962-2896. You can follow Travis at Travis Black Law on Twitter. And again, you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Travis Black Show.
Thanks for listening. To learn more about The Law Show Sacramento and to get access to more great podcasts, visit TravisBlackLaw.com. That's www.TravisBlackLaw.com.